A new image generation model has everyone talking on Twitter, and you might be surprised at what it is. Welcome back to the AI Daily Brief Headlines Edition, all the daily AI news you need in around 5 minutes. We haven't had cause to talk about an image generation model for a while, but today that's what a lot of people on X are talking about. The start of this story is that this week, Google rolled out a major update for Gemini 2.0 Flash. Most of the new features were important but relatively mundane. The model now has access to memory, it can access a user's search history for additional context, and the deep research feature has been updated to support the latest model. However, the feature that has grabbed all the attention is a new native image generation feature. One of the big differentiators with Google's LLMs is a native multimodal architecture. For some models, in fact this was the standard for some time, if a user asks the model to interpret an image, that image has to be converted into a text description before it can be fed into the LLM. The Gemini models can handle image and voice with no conversion in between. Google introduced the new feature with a few sample use cases. Users can get Gemini to create an illustrated story, interspersing text with images. The model can also edit images using natural language prompts, and this is by far the most discussed part of this. For example, Google demonstrated the model adding a bouquet of flowers to a dining room table. There was also a demonstration of reasoning being combined with image generation, with Gemini shown creating a recipe with pictures of each step being completed. Google also noted, and this is an extremely important feature for me, that this type of image generation can produce really strong, clear text. Now, the power of this toolset was immediately obvious, and the internet got right to figuring out what else the new feature could do. Professor Ethan Mollick snapped a picture of a Taylor Swift crochet kit on a shelf and asked the model to make it about Napoleon, including changing the text. Linus Ekenstam changed the background of a selfie, turned his face to the side, and then added a propeller hat. Former Anthropic developer Chris removed Dario Amade's hair. Now, we've seen this use text to edit your image feature theoretically embedded in other applications, but people seem to be responding to how flawless this version is. Video game concept artist Christian Penas generated an anime character. He then asked the model to place the character in a video game environment, run around a bit, and climb up a wall. Gemini created stills following along with the prompts, maintaining coherency throughout. He also demonstrated that Gemini can do a simple frame-by-frame pixel animation with sufficient prompts. This sort of style stability is a huge unlock for professional use cases. This does not, of course, mean that the model is perfect. Fofor tried a similar animation starting with a realistic but AI-generated girl's face. Over about 20 iterations, the images, to use their words, quote, slowly degraded into a horror show. Still, it's a major step up in the state-of-the-art for image generation, especially controllability. And being able to do it natively from a Gemini chatbot session is going to be, for many people, a big UX improvement. Torio quipped, "So when Sam Altman said expect big improvements in image generation, he was talking about Gemini." Next up, speaking of viral AI models that have gotten a lot of attention recently, Sesame has open sourced their viral voice assistant, Maya. When Maya was previewed 2 weeks ago, it took the internet by storm. Users were timing out their conversations, having what was by all accounts a very engaging AI chat experience. It has become a cliche, of course, to refer to things as the ChatGPT moment for X, but many people argued that that's exactly what Maya was for AI voice. The model was able to have flowing conversations, it handled interruptions seamlessly, it used subtle human voice tics like pausing and pace changes, all of which led to Sesame arguing that they had crossed the uncanny valley of AI speech and achieved something that they called voice presence. Well, now that model is open sourced, meaning it's freely available to developers to add to their apps. Maya is licensed under the Apache 2.0 license, which has very few restrictions on commercial use. The model comes with a small selection of voices, but users can add their own using just a few sentences of voice samples. Using the demo on Hugging Face, Kyle Wiggers of TechCrunch said he was able to clone his voice in under a minute and start generating speech. Sesame did note that the model doesn't currently have any safeguards. They're working on the honor system and asking users not to clone people's voice without consent or engage in harmful activities. Lastly today, Chinese big tech firm Alibaba has unveiled a new version of their AI assistant app, adding basic agentics to the platform for the first time. The new version of the Quark app has now been updated to take advantage of Alibaba's latest Qwen reasoning model. The assistant can now conduct AI searches as well as deep research and task execution. Part of why we're paying attention to Alibaba is that they've been shipping extremely fast this year and moving quickly with partnerships as well, announcing earlier this week, for example, that they were working with the viral Manus agent to bring that experience to the Chinese market. Beyond just the China-US part of this story, it's also another indication that agentic AI is fast becoming the default user interface across the board. This release from Alibaba is explicitly about supplanting the usual browsing experience with an agentic assistant. You've got a similar phenomenon happening over in the US with tools like Perplexity and Deep Research taking market share in search. Agentic coding assistants are becoming ubiquitous, and improvements in voice models are also breaking down friction. Aditya Surana, an agent builder, writes, "In my opinion, the latter half of 2025 will be about who makes the best AI agent interfaces for everyday use. The real winner will be the one who makes it open source." That, however, is going to do it for today's AI Daily Brief headlines. Next up, the main episode.